Good day, everyone. It's a lunchtime hope session. So normally I do them in the evenings, but we're changing it up, a lunch and learn today. And as you see on my screen, I've got the Christmas lights up. So we've hit there. We're in November. We're in the time of the year. It's the most wonderful time of the year, Christmas and the New Year. Hanukkah if you're Jewish, other events. So always lots happening, lots of gift giving, lots of joy, but lots of spending. So that's what we're going to focus on this week. And I'll have another 2 weeks from now. Could be 12 again, or we could shift back to the evening. Let me know your thoughts and what works best for you. So if we move on and jump right into it. So I am Tyler Wain. Live in the Waterford area right now. That's in southern Ontario, 30 minutes south of Brantford. Man of faith, really felt led to start this business up and help people with their finances. I finished high performing coach certification this year, master training through Dave Ramsey. That's where financial coaching, and some courses on business's mission, CPA in 2015. A lot of my time in the corporate world, but really felt called and to step out and start this. And it's called Hope Financial Solutions because I want you, if you're feeling hopeless, I want to show you there's a path to your dreams and you can live and have hope. So that is why it's called Hope Financial Solutions, whether you're in debt, whether you're trying to buy a home, it's a path. Whether you're stuck in a job you just despise, there's a way. So come on out. Obviously, these sessions are free and they're meant to just offer you the opportunity to ask any questions. However, you can also reach me on my website, www.hopefinancialsolutions.ca, and you can book a consult there as well. So jump in. What I have done is gone through and taken some spending stats over the last, so there's a number of years, but focusing right now on 2021, there was about $1,000 spent US. So these are US statistics. It was a US study, but in general, it holds North America and I would imagine largely the trends in the world. It's a global economy, so a lot of things are trending in this direction. So when we look at 2021 spending, there was almost $650 US spent on gifts, just gift giving. And then another $230 spent on non-gift items, so food, decorating, those things. And another $120 on other non-gift purchases. Kind of a catch-all, it would seem, but I would take this as maybe you're getting or buying some clothing to go to your event, other things like that. So lots of spending, as you see, $1,000 US. That's $1,300, a little more than that Canadian. When you roughly work it out on average income, it's about 1 week's salary that people are spending on average. So just to reframe that, if boss came to you and said, hey, I'll give you a 2% raise, you'd probably be pretty pleased. Well, that's about 1 week is roughly 2% of your total annual budget. So this isn't insignificant, especially for one time of the year. And I know it's a nice time to pause and really appreciate those in our lives and spend time with family and friends. So by no means discrediting the spending, but definitely something you need to look at. And if we look, so this is over the last 2 decades of spending. So from 2002 to 2021, so 20 years in total. This is just gift spending, and this is US gift giving in total, but it's been growing on average at 4% per year. Very, very rough, high level math, right? We know CPI, the Consumer Price Index, has been about 2% inflation a year. Obviously much higher lately and this year, but over the last 20 years or so, call it roughly 2%. So 2% of this increase per year is largely driven by just the price of goods going up. That leaves the other 2% for habits. So in any case, we can see it's a growing trend, more being spent and more costly. So when we look at it, 20% of our income on the year on average on this time of year. So what can we do? How can we look to manage our spending and not run up debt so that we enter the new year and are on the right foot? Because nobody likes having credit cards and debt weighing over them when they're trying to have fun with their family and friends, or also if it's hanging over them as they go into next year. And if on card or whatnot, you can look back on my YouTube channel. Just search Hope Financial Solutions. One of the first Hope sessions was on managing your credit cards. And you can see some examples there of how carrying a credit card balance really can impact you. So if we want to make Christmas and the holiday season a wonderful season, the most wonderful time of the year, what are some ways we can manage our spending? Number one, look at getting creative, right? I'm not saying we'd be cheap, but sometimes the best gifts are the ones where you put some thought in, and maybe it's a sentimental thing, or maybe you offer to take them on an experience. So think about it. Think about that person you're targeting, you're looking for. What would they like? And also, if you're going to events, you don't have to buy everything. You can look at doing your own baking, right? So make some cookies or make some squares. Everybody loves the homemade food. So this brings us to the next point, number two, but plan ahead, right? I would encourage you right now, even the time's here, set a budget. I actually had a social media post back in July, because realistically, if you want to save, let's just say $1,500, right? 1,000, let's call it 1,500 Canadian, 500 a month for 3 months is what you would need that money saved ahead. So if you start in July, that's July, August, September. By the time October hits, you could start to be looking at spending. So plan ahead, but if you haven't, set your budget now. Look at your finances. At the end of the day, the budget is the fundamental cornerstone for how you can really manage your finances. And setting a budget, you need to do that monthly. Every month is different, so a good idea of what you're going to be spending and get trends, but you need to set it monthly. And if you plan ahead by doing that and looking at what you're going to spend, even if you haven't until now, and save money up, if you look now and you say, okay, we're going to go here, so I'm going to need to bring X item, and I'm going to buy these gifts for these people. Do a rough budget. You'll first know how much you're going to spend, which you can then make cuts. If you say, oh, that's too much, or I don't have that resource, I'm going to be in debt, you can start to look at tweaks. And that goes back to number one. Maybe you make your own gifts for certain people or do your own baking. Pies are great too, right? Now, so you can do that. And then if the amounts are too high, you can look also at cutting. And just by setting that budget when you're out shopping, if you to spend on this person, then if you see a gift and it's 100, I need to find that 50 from somewhere else. Maybe you have a sibling or someone else that you can pool together with. But if you haven't set that budget, you may be inclined just to buy it, and you'll have a whoopsie later. And a whoopsie in my world is a bill that you can't pay, which is a credit card balance. So really encourage you, meant to restrict you. It's just meant to help you control your spending. And then also by setting that budget and having some idea, you can look for deals, right? So if you're in the US, Black Friday's coming. In Canada, again, global economy, there's always some online Black Friday deals. So really look, and if you have those ideas, when you do see a good price, you'll be able to snap it up because you'll know, hey, that's a good price. And then the fourth point that I have is get the kids involved, right? So if, especially for baking, those kind of things, or crafts, you don't have to buy every present. And sometimes the most meaningful are the ones. So it depends on the age of your kids. You're intuitive enough, you're smart enough people, you can work out what's the best fit for the gift. But it's involved, and it makes it a family experience, and it helps you just make the gifts more meaningful too, because it's a family thing. It's not oh, I went out and got this gift card for you, and that's that. It's something sentimental, especially on some of the baking, right? I know with my son now, he's just coming up to 2 years, well, in the spring, so we're trying to get him involved with baking, right? So it doesn't have to be it's the heart and the sentiment that count. And that brings me to my fifth point, right? So let's face it, we're in tough times. We're in unprecedented times. I know money's tight. If you can't afford to buy gifts, think and be sentimental, be creative, but just remember your presence, who you are and the person you are is worth far more than the gifts you give. You have value, you have worth, and just being at those events and speaking into people's lives and being there for them and a support, we need each other in these times. So don't feel like if you have to cut some of your gift giving, you're a terrible person. That's not true. It's a lie. You have value, you have worth, and just show up and be the best version of you. You're with loved ones, so it should land and everybody should enjoy the time. So I just encourage you, don't feel like you have to succumb to the pressures to buy everything and spend here and spend there and run up a bunch of debt. If you can't afford it, do the wise thing. And you can also, right, plan, maybe in the spring you go for a hike with them and you pack a picnic lunch, something like that. Again, we're back to getting creative, but just do what works for you. Don't succumb to the pressure, because let's face it, it has become a very commercial time of year, and that's not the heart of the season. The heart of the season, Christmas, was Jesus came and is there amongst us, and he came to give us life. So just remember that. So that's the main points. If you want to chat with me on any of these, be sure to come and book a call or just reach out on social media. I'd love to chat with you. And once again, so I'm trying this new time, lunch and learns at 12 p.m. Let me know what works for you. You can register on Eventbrite. So the next one will be October 24th. And I'm kind of keeping on this theme of holiday spending, but I'm open to suggestions as well if you'd like. So been a great time, and I can answer any questions. So we'll stop recording, and feel free to come on out at the next 24th or reach out in the meantime as well. Anyways, make it a great holiday season. Do your work in advance and really take the time to enjoy the season. Have a good one. Thanks for coming.